Alright guys, so I appreciate you taking time to watch this video today. I hope it's still helpful for you even though I'm not able to teach you directly today. And so we're going to be in lesson 4 of First Form Latin. So let's take a look at page 16. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to turn there and then we will begin together. What I want to first do is go over the present system, being the present tense, imperfect tense, and future tense. We're going to do a recitation on those, and then we're going to review the vocabulary. As soon as we're done with that, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the infinitive and what the infinitive does in Latin. It's very simple. You'll get used to seeing it. It does change from conjugation to conjugation, and since we're only studying the first conjugation now, it should be relatively easy for you to learn to start off with. And then as they change, it just takes a little bit to remember which one's which, but they all sound very similar, and so it'll be very easy. Let's begin on page 16, and let's repeat this together. Amo, amas, amat, amamus, amatis, amant, amabam, amabas, amabat, amabamos, amabatis, amabant, amabo, amabis, amabit, amabimus, amabitis, amabunt. Now remember, all of those that we've encountered so far, they all share the same stem, ama. Now the way that we find the stem is we take the first person singular form amo, which is going to be included in our dictionary form, and we're going to drop the O off of amo, and then we're going to add an A. And so that actually works for all of the stems that are going to be in the first conjugation. And so that's just the nature of it. We're going to drop the O and add the A, and that's how you get the stem. So then you add any ending that we come across, we're going to add it right to that stem. And so in this case, we have amo, but every other one begins with ama, and so that is our stem. Let's review our vocabulary. Aduro, adurare. Now, what is that? Adurare is going to be our infinitive form of this, and that's what we're getting into today. So as I say it, you repeat with me. Aduro, adurare, to adore. Ambulo, ambulare, to walk. Amo, amare, to love, to like. Aro, arare, to plow. Clamo, clamare, to shout. Do, dare, to give. Ero, are. So we're going to take that and we're going to say errare, to err, wander. Habito, habitare, to live in, to dwell. Judico, judicare, to judge. Juo, juare, to help. Laboro, laburare, to work. Laudo, laudare, to praise. Lavo, lavare, to wash. Libero, liberare, to set free. Naro, narrare, to tell. Nato, natare, to swim. Navigo, navigare, to sail. Occupo, occupare, to seize. Opto, optare, to desire or wish. Uro, urare, to speak or pray. Paro, porare. I mispronounced that. Parare, to prepare. Porto, portare, to carry. Pugno, pugnare, to fight. Saluto, salutare, to greet. Servo, servare, to guard or keep. Specto, spectare, to look at. Sto, stare, to stand. Supero, superare, to overcome or surpass. Tempto, temptare, to tempt. Voco, vocare, to call. Okay, so we've gone over all of these now. I just wanted to pronounce them for you. I'm not perfect either. I'm still kind of only at an intermediate level of Latin. There are a lot of people who probably could pronounce them way better than I can. But remember trying to accent in the right place according to the accent markers. Remember the accent falls on the penultimate. Otherwise, unless it's marked by an accent marker somewhere else, which might be the antepenult. And then also the R's, try to pronounce those as well, with the rolling of the R. It's not like a, like the R sound. It's the libero, that rolling R sound that you use when your tongue is hitting your teeth. And so that's worth practicing. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to flip over now to page 17, and we're going to talk about the infinitive. And I'll probably keep this really short and basic today. We're just going to read over it, but I want to make sure that I'm clear and that I explain some of the things that might not make sense. So the infinitive. The present, imperfect, and future tenses make up the present system. All three tenses are built on the present stem. The stem being like ama, right? So in the present system, there are 18 ways to write amo. A Latin dictionary does not list all of these forms, but instead gives 4 main forms for each verb. These 4 main forms are called principal parts. Now that's going to be really important, even though you may not have your dictionary yet, but you should, because you're supposed to buy one. Even though you might not have that yet, those principal parts are going to be really helpful as we get into like second form Latin in next semester. You're going to by then have learned all of those principal parts and be using them more. And so it's good to go ahead and get a firm foundation now as we start understanding what principal parts are. Think about what the word principal means, right? It means like the most important, the most prominent, or the ones that is like are most used. And so it's not about your principles. That's not what it's saying. But it's talking about the most important. And so these different principal parts are ones that are probably most used, or at least most universal in the language. So the principal parts of a verb provide the stems needed to conjugate that verb in all of its tenses. The first 2 principal parts of amo are amo and amare. Amo, the first principal part, means I love, and is the first person singular of the present tense. We've already practiced that one. It is the entry form of the verb in the vocabulary list or dictionary. And so that's why whenever we're going to be learning these new words, they're always going to pop up and they're going to say, it's going to be like, it's going to be like now we go, right? It's going to say now we go with the O, the first person singular, and but then give the definition to sail. And so it might seem confusing because that's not actually what it means. Navigo means I sail. Navigare means to sail. But that's just how it's written because it just helps navigate the dictionary easier. So the first principal part means I love and is the first person singular of the present tense. It is the entry form of the verb in a vocabulary list or dictionary. Amare, the second principal part, means to love and has a special name, which is the infinitive. The infinitive of every first conjugation verb ends in are, A-R-E, are. The infinitive is used to identify the conjugation family a verb belongs to. So that's what I meant earlier when I said all conjugations are going to have a different infinitive, and that it's going to help you navigate those later on. But all you need to know now is that this is first conjugation, A-R-E, are. A verb whose infinitive ends in are belongs to the first conjugation. The infinitive means to plus the verb, like to work, to love, to sail. The infinitive of amo is amare and means to love. From this point on, this text will use the infinitive meaning in the vocabulary lists. In a vocabulary list or dictionary entry, a first conjugation verb may be written with its complete infinitive or with an infinitive ending. So it might say like amo or amare, or it might just say amo and then are. But you see the hyphen there tells you, okay, this is an ending. And so you know to drop the stem from amo, you drop the O and you put an A on, then you have amare. The official way to find the stem of a first conjugation is to drop the R. Next you see that it says amare, and then it says amare, and then it shows the stem equals ama. So it's just breaking it up, separating them so you can see the stem from amare. So now it says, say aloud the first and second principal parts of the verbs in the vocabulary review on the facing page. So we just studied that. We just kind of practiced that together. So I'm not going to make you do that with me again. But you do have some exercises that you can work on, a couple of pages there in that your teacher can hand out to you if they have not already. And so that will be great help to you. If you have any questions about this or something doesn't quite make sense about infinitives, a quick Google search will be able to help clarify that. I would recommend using YouTube and going and looking up like how does the infinitive work in the first conjugation. And there are a lot of wonderful videos that are probably a little bit more entertaining for you to use there. And so that's what I would encourage if you're struggling with understanding it still. So that being said, that will conclude our lesson for the day, and we will pick back up tomorrow with lesson 5.